I'm George Flynn on In-Depth TV. Today, we've got a good show for you. We've got a really interesting show, so get a pen and paper out. You may want to take a few notes. You may want to consider these topics that we're going to talk about, because I think we're going to have a lot of fun and you're going to learn quite a bit about yourself. What we're talking about is quitting. That's right, I said quitting. And usually we don't talk about those kind of things. Those kind of things are usually off limits. But let's talk about quitting. Why do some people find it hard to quit certain things and very easy to quit other things? Is it the degree of pain, pleasure? What does it bring? Quitting. Stopping. We've all heard the old saying, quitters never win and winners never quit. Now that goes so far when you're talking about striving for excellence. In your job, you may strive for excellence, and you're told and you're advised and internally I don't quit. I keep going till I get the job done. That's probably you. And in your family life, I don't quit on my family. My wife, my kids, my husband, my grandkids, my father, my mother, brothers, sisters, I don't quit on them. You probably say that. I don't quit on my family. I don't quit on my job. In my neighborhood, my volunteer activities, I don't quit. I don't quit. Or do you? When things get going rough, when there are a lot of people out there in the outside, not family, a lot of people out there that are disagreeing with you, and it can be in a social organization, a church, a volunteer group, there's a tendency to want to quit, to stop, to say, no more. I've had it. I'm leaving. Do it your way. I don't want to have any part of it. A lot of people, go with that. But there is some degree of character for sticking with it, even though you're with people with whom you don't agree. Let's say it that way. So we're talking about quitting. That's when you're getting a painful situation from something. You're getting a painful feeling out of this activity, out of this group, out of this thing that you're doing. If work is painful for you, a lot of people wait for quitting time only to come back the next day and do it. And a lot of people talk like that. And if that's you, either go out and get another job or quit talking like that. Because we're acculturated to talk like we don't like our job. And what I'm saying is, love your job. That way, when you're doing something you love, you never work. You're always doing something you love. Work is doing something you got to do when you really don't want to do it and you'd rather be doing something else. But if you love your work, you never work. It's not work. You get to go have fun every day. And the fun may not be jovial, ha-ha, laughing fun. The fun is probably very serious fun, satisfying fun. And that's what I'm talking about, fun. Satisfying that you have made a difference in that day. You've made a difference in your life, your family's life, other people's lives. You have made a big difference, usually a positive difference. So quitting, people don't think about that, but you can get tired and you can say, oh, it's quitting time, but let's not say that to ourselves anymore. That puts a negative in your head. Let's say it's time to go home and rest and relax and recuperate until the next day. That's what I want you to think about. And I don't care if it's housework, I don't care if it's a job, I don't care what you're doing. You say, I am so lucky I get to go do that again tomorrow. I can't wait till I get to go do it, but I'm going to rest and take my relaxation right now, so I'll be good at it tomorrow. Now that is what I'm talking about, a positive experience. Now let's talk about quitting some more. Quitting, it's pretty easy to quit something that is difficult and that is painful and that is hurting you, or is it? Well, let's take smoking. What about stopping smoking, quitting smoking? And most people say, I can quit smoking. I can quit smoking anytime. I've done it hundreds of times, and you know the old joke is I've done it hundreds of times means they're still smoking. Now, why in the world are they still smoking? Well, let's think about it. Number one is smoking. We know it hurts your lungs. We know it hurts your cardiac system, your vascular system. We know it impairs so many things in your body. We know that smoking causes some forms of cancer. We know that smoking predisposes you to have some forms of cancer. So, why this hurts you? Why do people have so much trouble quitting? Now, remember, things that hurt you over in the social group, you have no problem resigning, quitting, getting out of that social group. But smoking, you know it hurts you. There are all kind of reports out there. There are all kind of messages that try to scare you into quitting. They try to present it to you, and they're absolutely honest, but they try to present it to you as you need to stop. Stop now. So, why don't we quit? Well, in the act of smoking, I've never smoked a cigarette. I hear about this. In the act of smoking, you get some kind of pleasure from the nicotine and the smoking and the ritual of getting a cigarette out and lighting it and smoking it, even though you have to do it outside now and there's no smoking in restaurants and on airplanes. And, people, it's so pleasurable, that instantaneous pleasure, that you overlook the long-term negative consequences. So it's hard to quit. Hard to quit. Alcohol. We know that too much alcohol can cause all kinds of diseases, liver disease. That's the beginning. Alcoholism causes all kinds of social diseases. And a little bit of alcohol for the non-alcoholic is okay. But the alcohol addicted person, they have a hard time quitting because of the relaxation, the elevated feeling they feel. And they have a hard time quitting. So They don't, even though they know there's long-term harm in it. They can lose their families. They can lose all their money. They can lose their driver's license. They can lose all of these, lose their health. You know, they lose their health, their wealth, and their relationships. Yet, they continue because of that short-term positivity. What's the answer? Well, the answer is to have the internal structures knowing what a long-term harm there is. Diabetics, they know there's long-term harm in eating sugar, but they love sugar, they crave it. Alcoholics crave alcohol. Smokers crave that cigarette. What is it about it? It's that short-term good feeling that overrides any idea of the long-term negative consequences. What do? Well, one thing we can do is have a short-term good feeling about our work. Do you see where I'm going with it? Short-term good feeling about our work or our family or our social situation so that we get a pleasure from that. And once you do that, you want to do more and more of it. And then the other thing is with the negative things, the long-term negative feelings or consequences of the short-term good feeling, what do we do about that? Well, there are a lot of techniques. And just one technique is the rubber band technique. And you've probably seen it, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it to you. If you're having trouble quitting something that you know you should quit, you can put a rubber band, not a thin rubber band, the thick one, the thick rubber band. You put it around your wrist, and you carry it around your wrist just all day long. You say, well, what's a rubber band going to do around my wrist? Well, what you do is when you want a cigarette, or when you want a drink, or you want to do something that's negative, or if you've got diabetes and you want sugar, you take that rubber band and you pull it back and you pop it, and it pops your wrist. That's not going to do any permanent damage, but it is going to sting and hurt. And if you'll do this day after day for about a month, every time you want one, pop your wrist. Every time you want one, pop your wrist. What will happen is you will associate that craving with the pain of popping your wrist, and that craving will diminish greatly. It won't go away, but it will diminish greatly. And if you keep on doing that for 60 or 90 days, it may just go away. But you have to be consistent. You have to just go get a box of the rubber bands, because you're going to be thankful one day when it breaks and say, I don't have to pop my wrist today. Get a box of them and put one on your wrist every day and pop it if you have a craving that's going to lead to a long-term negative consequence. That's what we're talking about. We want to quit the bad things, and we want to continue the good things. I hope you found this interesting and instructive, and when I see you out wearing that rubber band, I'll know what you're doing, and we can smile at each other about it. I'm George Flynn. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.